Conflict resolution skills. Building a skill that can turn conflicts into opportunities. Conflict is a normal part of any healthy relationship. After all, two people can't be expected to agree on everything all the time. Learning how to deal with conflict rather than avoiding it is crucial. When conflict is mismanaged, it can cause great harm to relationships, but when handled in a respectful, positive way, conflict provides an opportunity to strengthen the bond between two people. By learning this skill for conflict resolution, you can keep your personal and professional relationships strong and growing. Understanding conflict in relationships. Conflict arises from differences, both large and small. It occurs whenever people disagree over their values, motivations, perceptions, ideas, or desires. Sometimes these differences appear trivial, but when a conflict triggers strong feelings, a deep personal need is often at the core of the problem. This need can be a need to feel safe and secure, a need to feel respected and valued, or a need for greater closeness and intimacy. Conflicts arise from differing needs. Everyone needs to feel understood, nurtured, and supported, but the way in which these needs are met vary wildly. Differing needs for feeling comfortable and safe create some of the most severe challenges in our personal and professional relationships. Think about the conflicting need for safety and con- continuity versus the need to explore or take risks. You frequently see this conflict between toddlers and their parents. The children's need to explode so the street or the cliff meet their need, but the parents' need is to protect the child's safety. So limited exploration becomes a bond of contention between them. The need of both parties play important role in the long-term success of most relationships, and each deserves respect and consideration. In personal relationships, a lack of understanding about different needs can result in distance, arguments, and breakups. In workplace conflicts, differing needs are often at the heart of bitter disputes, sometimes resulting in broken deals. Fewer profit and lost jobs. When you are recognized, when you can recognize the legitimacy of conflict needs and become willing to examine them in an environment of compassionate understanding, it opens pathways to creative problem solving, team building, and improved relationships. Conflict 101. A conflict is more than just a disagreement. It is a situation in which one or both parties perceive a threat, whether or not the threat is real. Conflicts continue to fester when ignored. Because conflicts involve perceived threats to our well-being and survival, they stay with us until we face and resolve them. We respond to conflicts based on our perceptions of the situation, not necessarily to an objective review of the facts. Our perception are influenced by our life experiences, culture, values, and beliefs. Conflict triggers strong emotions. If you aren't comfortable with your emotions or able to manage them in times of stress, you won't be able to resolve conflicts successfully. Conflicts are an opportunity for growth. When you are able to resolve conflict in a relationship, it builds trust. You can feel secure knowing your relationship can survive challenges and disagreements. Conflict may feel more threatening to you than it really is. Do you fear conflict or avoid it at all costs? If your perception of conflict comes from frightening or painful memories from previous unhealthy relationships or earlier childhood, you may expect all present-day disagreement to end badly. You may view conflict in relationships as demoralizing, humiliating, dangerous, and something to fear. If your earlier life experiences also left you feel out of control and powerless, conflict may even be traumatizing for you. If you view conflict as dangerous, it tends to become a self-fulfilling prophecy. When you go into a conflict situation already feeling extremely threatened, it is thought to deal with a problem at hand in a healthy way. Instead, you are more likely to shut down or be blow up in anger. Healthy and unhealthy way of managing of resolving conflict. Unhealthy responses to conflict. An inability to recognize and respond to the things that matter to the other person. Explosive, angry, hurtful, and resentful reactions. The withdrawal of love resulting in rejection, isolation, shaming, and fear of abandonment. And an inability to compromise or see other person's side. The fear and avoidance of conflict and expectation of bad outcomes. Healthy responses to conflict. The capacity to recognize and respond to the things that matter to the other person. Calm, non-defensive, and respectful reactions. A readiness to forgive and forget, and to move past the conflict without holding resentment or anger. The ability to seek compromise and avoid punishing. A belief that facing conflict head-on is the best thing for both sides. Successful conflict resolution depends on your ability to regulate stress and your emotions. Conflict triggers strong emotion can lead to hurt feelings, disappointment, and discomfort. When handled in an unhealthy manner, it can cause irreparable repeats, resentment, and breakups. But when conflict is resolved in a healthy way, it increases our understanding of one another, builds trust, and strengthens our relationship bonds. If you are out of touch with your feelings, so stressed that you can only pay attention to a limited number of emotions, you won't be able to understand your own needs, and if you don't understand your own needs, you will have a hard time communicating with others and staying in touch with what's really troubling you. For example, couples often argue about petty differences. The way she hands the towel, the way she slurps his soup, rather than what is really bothering them. The ability to successfully resolve conflict depends on your ability to manage stress quickly while maintaining alert and calm. By staying calm, you can accurately read and interpret verbal and nonverbal communication. Control your emotions and behavior. When you are in control of your emotions, you can communicate your needs without threatening, frightening, or punishing others. Pay attention to the feelings being expressed as well as the spoken words of others. Be aware of and respectful of differences. By avoiding disrespectful words and actions, You can almost always resolve a problem faster. To successfully resolve a conflict, you will need to learn and practice two core skills: the ability to quickly reduce stress in the moment and the ability to remain comfortable enough with your emotions to react in constructive ways even in the midst of an argument or a perceived attack. Quick stress relief. The first core conflict resolution skill. Being able to manage and relieve stress in the moment is the key to staying balanced, focused, and in control, no matter what challenge you face. If you don't know how to stay centered and in control of yourself, you will become overwhelmed in conflict situations and unable to respond in healthy ways. Psychologist Connie Lillas uses a driving analogy to describe the three most common ways people respond when they are overwhelmed by stress. Foot on the gas. An angry and agitated stress response. You are heated, keyed up, overly emotional, and unable to sit still. Foot on the brake. A withdrawn or depressed stress response. You shut down, spat out, and show very little energy or emotion. Foot on both gas and brake. The tense and frozen stress response. You freeze under pressure and can't do anything. You look paralyzed, but under the surface you're extremely agitated. Stress interferes with the ability to resolve conflict by limiting your ability to accurately read another person's nonverbal communication. Hear what someone is really saying. Be aware of your own feelings. Be in touch with your deep-rooted needs. Communicate your needs clearly. Is stress a problem or you? You may be used to being stressed that you are not even aware you are stressed. Stress may be a problem in your life if you identify with the following. You often feel tense or tight somewhere in your body. You are not aware of movement in your chest or stomach when you breathe. Conflict absorbs your time and attention. Learn how to be stressed in the moment. The best way to rapidly and reliably relieve stress if you don't have someone close at hand to talk to is through the senses: sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. But each person responds differently to sensory input, so you need to find things that are soothing to you. Emotional awareness. The second core conflict resolution skill. Emotional awareness is the key to understanding yourself and others. If you don't know how you feel or why you feel that way, you won't be able to communicate effectively or resolve disagreements. Although knowing your own feelings may sound simple, many people ignore or try to sedate strong emotions like anger, sadness, and fear. Your ability to handle conflict, however, depends on being connected to these feelings. If you are afraid of strong emotions or if you insist on finding solutions that are strictly rational, your ability to face and resolve differences will be impaired. Why emotional awareness is a key factor in resolving conflict. Emotional awareness, the consciousness of your moment-to-moment emotional experience, and the ability to manage all of your feelings and appropriately is the basis of a communication process that can resolve conflict. Emotional awareness helps you understand what is really troubling other people, understand yourself, including what is really troubling you. Staying motivated until a conflict is resolved. Communicate clearly and effectively. Attract and influence others. Assessing your ability to recognize and manage emotions. The following quiz help you assess your level of emotional awareness. Answer the following questions with almost never, occasionally, often, very frequently, and almost always. There are no right or wrong responses, only the opportunity to become better acquainted with your emotional responses. What kind of relationship do I have with my emotions? Do you experience feelings that flow, encountering one emotion after another as your experiences change from moment to moment? Are your emotions accompanied by physical sensations that you experience in places like your stomach or chest? Do you experience discrete feelings or emotions such as anger, sadness, fear, joy, each of which is evident in subtle facial expressions? Can you experience intense feelings that are strong enough to capture both your attention and that of others? Do you pay attention to your emotions? Do they factor into your decision making? If any of these experiences are unfamiliar, your emotions may be turned down or even turned off. In either case, you may need help developing your emotional awareness. You can do this by reading Developing Emotional Awareness. Nonverbal communication plays a big role in conflict resolution. The most important information exchanged during conflicts and arguments is often communicated nonverbally. Nonverbal communication is conveyed by emotionally driven facial expressions, posture, gesture, pace, tone, and intensity of voice. The most important communication is wordless. When people are upset, the words they use rarely convey the issue and nip at the heart of the problem. When we listen for what is felt as well as what is said, we connect more deeply to our own needs and emotions and to those of other people. Listening this way also strengthens us, informs us, and makes it easier for others to hear us. When you're in the middle of the conflict, paying close attention to others' person's nonverbal signals may help you figure out what the other person is really saying. This will allow you to respond in a way that builds trust and get to the root of the problem. A clean tone of voice, a reassuring touch, or an interesting or concerned facial expression can go a long way toward relaxing a tense exchange. Your ability to accurately read another person depends on your own emotional awareness. The more aware you are of your own emotion, the easier it will be for you to pick up the wordless clues that reveal what others are feeling. Humor, strategies used can effectively diffuse conflict. Once stress and emotion are brought into balance, your capacity for joy, pleasure, and playfulness is unleashed. Joy is deceptively powerful resource. Studies show that you can surmount adversity as long as you continue to have moments of joy. humor plays a similar role when facing conflict. You can avoid many confrontations and resolve arguments and disagreements by communicating in a humorous way. Humor can help you say things that might otherwise be difficult to express without offending someone. However, it's important that you laugh with the other person, not at them. When humor and play are used to reduce tension and anger, prevent problems, and put the situation into perspective, the conflict can actually become an opportunity for greater connection and intimacy. Tips for managing and resolving conflict. Managing and resolving conflict requires the ability to quickly reduce stress and bring your emotion into balance. You can ensure that the process is as positive as possible by sticking to the following guidelines. Listen for what is felt as well as said. When we listen, we connect more deeply to our own needs and emotions and to those of other people. Listening also strengthens us, informs us, and makes it easier for others to hear us when it's our turn to speak. Make conflict resolution the priority rather than winning or being right. Maintaining and strengthening the relationship rather than winning the argument should always be your first priority. Be respectful of other person and his or her viewpoint. Focus on the present. If you are holding on to grudge based on the past resentment, your ability to see the reality of current situation will be impaired. Rather than looking to the past and assigning blame, focus on what you can do in the here and now to solve the problem. Pick your battles. Conflicts can be draining, so it's important to consider whether the issue is really worthy of your time and energy. Maybe you don't want to surrender a parking space if you have been suffering for 15 minutes, but if there are dozens of empty spots, arguing over a single space isn't worth it. Be willing to forgive. Resolving conflict is impossible if you are unwilling or unable to forgive. Resolution lies in releasing the urge to punish, which can never compensate for our losses and only adds to our injury by further depleting and draining our lives. Know when to let someone go. If you can't come to an agreement, agree to disagree. It takes two people to keep an argument going. If a conflict is going nowhere, you can choose to disengage and move on.